Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the SRDS.com Media Pro webinar covering how to access and buy programmatic guaranteed direct or automated guaranteed inventory in SRDS.com. I'm excited to have you join us as we learn more about programmatic buying. We do want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your subscription to SRDS.com and that you can understand how you can now access and click to buy in addition to buying direct.
The leader has muted your line. To unmute your line, press #6.
After today, I hope you'll have a solid foundation on how to conduct automated guaranteed programmatic buying via SRDS.com. We do have a lot to cover today, and we've only scheduled 30 minutes of your time. In order to keep things moving and to make sure we get through it all, I do respectfully ask that everyone please mute your phone line if it isn't already. We are planning to do our best to accommodate some time for questions at the end of the webinar, so please submit your questions as you have them via the WebEx chat box directly to the host, and then Tina or I will be able to sort through them and get them answered at the end of the session. We will also send out a link later today with the recording from the session. You'll also be able to find recordings of this webinar and other Media Pro webinars on demand when you sign into SRDS.com. As you may know, my name is Mike Morrow. I'm the Content and Online Marketing Director for Kantar Media SRDS, and I am joined today by your friend and mine, Tina Stevens, one of our corporate trainers. I will note that today's session on programmatic is the 5th in a multi-part series on digital media, so if you're interested in other webinars like this, let us know or check out that SRDS.com portal page. All right, that's all the business and logistics out of the way. I'd like to welcome you again, and I'm going to hand it over to Tina Stevens.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you all again for your time and attention. I'm excited to be able to share this new programmatic data and search functionality with you all. This is particularly exciting because many of our users may be interested in exploring programmatic buying, but need more knowledge about how it works and context around why they should buy this way. We hope to help. Through SRDS.com, you can actually access programmatic data and available inventory. How have we made that possible? Well, this year we partnered with a number of guaranteed direct platforms and other third-party buy channels, including Rubicon Project, Pubmatic, iSocket, BuySellAds, AdSlot, OpenX, and Shiny Ads. That means you'll be able to access, compare, and ultimately buy multiple programmatic ad packages from hundreds of publishers via these platforms right from SRDS.com. Currently, the data you'll find online is from iSocket, BuySellAds, and Shiny Ads. Our other partners' inventory data is coming later this year. As I've been reaching out to many of you over the last few weeks to schedule trainings with your users on this new feature, some of you have said, "I'm traditional," or "We have a digital team that handles this," or you digital folks have said, "We already have our programmatic resources in place." Even if you haven't dabbled in digital or programmatic, this new information is extremely valuable to all of you. Why? Because guaranteed direct buying is extremely efficient and cost-effective, and I'm sure you're always looking for ways to save time and money. Whether you're traditional, integrated, or digital, you have an agency trading desk. You should be interested in this functionality because it puts some of the digital buying and control back in your hands. If you're a traditional planner, use this resource to get cross-platform experience. Technology is making traditional buying easier. Don't get left behind. If you have a separate digital team, make sure to share this resource so they can make transparent buys easily and cost-effectively. If you're an integrated planner, use SRDS.com as the single resource for all your buying needs. You have access to real inventory that can be bought programmatically. Don't get bogged down in the RFP process when it comes to digital buying. Digitize your I/O process, make real buys, and you can even download and print inventory reports. Plus, you digital folks, even if you have programmatic resources in place, SRDS.com is now one of them, and it's very different than any other. We've compiled and standardized digital ad inventory and pricing from hundreds of sites and published it in SRDS.com for you to click to purchase. It's transparent, efficient, and flexible for you to use. As a digital subscriber, you already have access to this, so no change, you just need to know how to take advantage of it. Unlike the last programmatic webinar we hosted in June, which covered the fundamentals around many types of programmatic buying, this session is specifically focused on how to do guaranteed direct buying. We'll be looking at the different ways to get to the programmatic information through SRDS.com and what you can do with the information. While what I'm going to take you through is functionality, I do want to touch on a couple of definitions to set the stage. When I refer to programmatic buying, it essentially means using technology to get your digital ad where it needs to be in a more automated way. There are different types of programmatic buying, and what SRDS.com offers is guaranteed direct as well as private marketplace buying through our partner providers. When I refer to guaranteed direct, it refers to the automated direct sale of reserved ad inventory between a buyer and seller. Essentially, it's a more technological, automated, and streamlined version of the direct sales process. The inventory is saved and available until it's purchased on by a buyer. This is as close to buying digital inventory direct, but in a more automated fashion. The price you see is negotiable, but the inventory itself is guaranteed. Once the buy is made, your ad is slotted directly to the publisher's ad server. There are many benefits for you to have guaranteed direct inventory accessible in SRDS.com. The first is transparency. As you may know, when you work with an ad exchange or network, the buying is often blind. You don't know the publisher you're buying from or where your ad will show up on the site. In Guaranteed Direct, you can choose the publisher, exactly which inventory you'd like to buy, the ad position, the campaign dates, as well as any targeting options offered. It's hard to argue with the benefits Guaranteed Direct brings around automation. This form of buying digitizes many of the more manual processes involving IOs, which save you time and effort. Guaranteed direct buying allows you to negotiate with the publisher and puts more control back in your hands. Instead of relying on campaign performance data from the publisher, you can often go through the Guaranteed Direct platform for reports and then optimize from there as needed. Plus, you no longer need to go through a DSP or trading desk to get programmatic inventory. The power is in your hands. Guaranteed Direct is a fast, easy way to buy high-quality, well-defined ad space directly from publishers. We know that some buyers still have some hesitancy around programmatic buying. That's okay. This is a very new space that is changing rapidly. SRDS has been around for almost 100 years, and it's part of our jobs to help buyers get a handle on new innovations in advertising as they come along. We're confident that this new form of buying will make your job easier and help you create better digital campaigns. As I mentioned, we've integrated publisher inventory from 3 of our Guaranteed Direct partners so far. They are iSocket, Shiny Ads, and BuySellAds. Any user who subscribes to digital on SRDS.com has access to this inventory. There are more than 700 publishers with inventory ready for you to review and potentially buy, and that number continues to grow as we roll in more partners and their publisher data. Which publishers are making their programmatic inventory available to our partners and consequently in SRDS.com? There's really a wide range, which is great for you because there's a high chance that you'll find a site that meets your campaign parameters. There are traditional publishers like Forbes, USA Today, Condé Nast, and Reuters. Pure play digitals are there too. MSN, Match.com, and Zillow are a few examples. What we're going to do now is we're going to see how all of this looks and works by going into the product. So once you log into SRDS.com, you're going to take a look over here on the left-hand side of your screen where you're going to immediately notice that the digital media database is now broken up into 3 separate sections. Websites, which is where all 21,000 websites that we've identified that accept advertising live. This is where you're going to find websites to consider and evaluate for direct-to-site buys. the programmatic section, and that's where we're going to be spending our time today. This is where all of the websites above who have inventory available through our partners are going to be listed for you to find, consider, and ultimately buy. Finally, there's the networks and tech section, and this is where those detailed listings on the digital ad tech providers, who they are, what they do, how they work, and in many cases, sites they've served on, live as well. Today, we're focusing on guaranteed direct buying through SRDS.com, so we're going to start in the programmatic section. When I click on the programmatic section of the digital database, what's going to load up in the center of the screen is your resource for all things programmatic. This is where you can come not only to get up to speed on the programmatic space, but also stay in the know as it changes, and it changes constantly. What you can find here is not only information about buying programmatically through SRDS and how it works. You can get more information about our programmatic partners by linking off to their FAQ pages. You can link off to that Programmatic Fundamentals webinar we did a couple months ago, as well as get some great industry resources to get you up to speed and stay up to speed in this ever-changing ecosystem. Just like all of the other SRDS databases, when you go into the programmatic section, on the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to be met with a number of filtering categories to help you narrow down your results to those sites that make sense for what it is you're looking for. In the programmatic section, you can filter by platform. All programmatic ads run on a specific platform. If you have your creative set, filter by ad size. You can filter by classification, either consumer-oriented or business-to-business. You can filter by market or even programmatic partner. And once you select your filters, your results, like all other SRDS databases, load in the center of the screen for you to review. Now, your programmatic results come back sorted high to low by compete unique visitor number. You can resort in alpha order if you choose, or by price. And while the most common pricing model in the programmatic inventory is CPM, there may be other pricing models you see as well. Once you have your results sorted the way you want to, you can review them in the center of the screen. You're given the name of the site with the inventory, and clicking on the name will load their full listing for you to review if you choose. You get that profile that gives you the objective overview of content and maybe a little bit about audience for the site. You get their compete unique visitor number, and then you get the pricing CPM starting as low as whatever it may be. If you're interested, click on pricing details, and that opens up a window that's going to show you which partner has what inventory available for this site at what cost. You'll see in this case for Forbes.com, iSocket has inventory. If you click on the link to the iSocket FAQ page or the question mark, you'll get more information about that provider. We tell you if there are any minimums. We tell you how they sell the inventory. If you want more information about how they sell the inventory, click on the question mark. We tell you what inventory they have available, the size, the location, formats accepted, any targeting options that are available, pricing for that inventory, and again, if you want more information about the pricing, click the question mark. If you see something that you're interested in, click Add to Campaign, and then scroll through and review if there are any other options of interest, if any other partners have inventory for this site for you to review. Once you've set everything aside and you're done, X out, and you can continue to review your options and move on. So let's take a look at how this works using an example. So let's say that our client is a photographer and they're interested in displaying their photography services on bridal sites. They want the buys to be made soon since wedding season is approaching fast, and they ask you about programmatic buying. So you think, well, I can use SRDS.com. Once you sign in, you're going to click on the programmatic section, and then you're going to select the the bridal classification. When your results load, you're going to see that there are 6 sites with programmatic inventory for you to review. You don't have to go to each site direct anymore. The client's interested in advertising on a few of them. But before you make any decisions to buy, you want to get a good look at minimum spend, ad placement, creative size, and then you're going to start with the not.com. When I click on pricing details, I can see that iSocket has inventory, and if I scroll all the way down, I can also see that Shiny Ads has inventory as well. Depending on conversations with your client, such as where they want the ad to run, maybe above the fold, and what your budget is, you can determine which buys to make. Click Add to Campaign for any inventory of interest, and then when you're done, X out, review your other options, add any other inventory of interest to campaign, and when you're ready, you're going to click on Digital Campaigns in the upper right-hand corner and then proceed to order RFP in order to process the buy with each provider. Not only does this process save a tremendous amount of time, but you have transparent access to real inventory and pricing that's being made available, and all of this inventory is aggregated for your use. Buying programmatically in SRDS.com can be just that simple. So let's look at another way of getting at that programmatic inventory. Let's say you're not even there yet. You're just in the discovery stages. You're just trying to find sites to consider, see what your options are and what's out there. You're going to start in the website section of the database. And just like before, we're going to filter down to find the sites that make sense for what it is that we're looking for. So once I have all my filters selected and my results load in the center of the screen, I'm going to review the list view, the little snapshot overview, to just get a sense of what my options are. If any of these sites have inventory available through any of our programmatic partners, as you're reviewing the snapshot overview and the list view, you're going to see that same pricing details information here to the right. So as you're reviewing and evaluating these options, you now also have price to add to the list of things to evaluate that site against. If you're interested, again, click on pricing details. That's going to open up the window. It's going to show you who has what inventory at what price. Again, review whatever you want, set anything of interest aside to your campaign. When you're done, X out of the window and move on. So let's see how getting to that programmatic inventory through the website section and the discovery phases works as well. In this example, our client is interested in publicizing their new fitness equipment to exercise trainers and fitness enthusiasts. They're looking for sites to consider, so we're going to go ahead and click on the website section of the database. We're going to go ahead and find that filter for fitness under classifications. And in this case, the client has also told us that their creative is already set. They have a leaderboard that's 728 by 90, so I'm going to make that selection as well. And I get 24 sites in my results. And while I could dig deeper and look at each site, contact them individually to negotiate a buy, I could also scroll down all the way to the bottom on the left-hand side and see that we have 11 sites across 2 programmatic partners that have programmatic inventory for me to consider. I'm going to go ahead and filter by both partners to see what options come up. And when my options load, you'll notice there's a nice mix of sites from both traditional publishers like Muscle and Fitness, as well as pure plays like Livestrong for me to consider. Again, I can go ahead, select pricing details, review who has what inventory available, set anything of interest aside that I might be interested in. When I'm done, X out of the window and move on. So now, even through just the discovery phases, I can see what pricing and inventory is available for me to consider. The third way of getting to this programmatic information is through the listing itself. So I'm going back to my photography client who has come to me and said they want me to look at weddingchannel.com. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up Wedding Channel's listing. And when I go into the listing, if they have programmatic inventory available, now as part of their listing detail, they're going to have a Programmatic Opportunities tab. When you see that, click on it, and just like the Pricing Details tab, what opens up is a list of inventory for that site by provider, so who has what at what price. Again, add anything of interest to my campaign, see who else has inventory, add that to the campaign, and then move on. So we've gone through the three ways to get to the programmatic information in SRDS. First is through the programmatic section of the digital database. You're going to come here to see which sites have inventory and pricing available through one of our partners. You're going to filter down to find the sites of interest, compare their inventory and pricing, add to campaign any inventory of interest, then click to print, save, or buy. You can also get there through the website section of the database. Search for sites to consider and compare, view their pricing details as part of your initial evaluation process for sites with inventory through one of our partners, compare the inventory and pricing, add any inventory of interest to your campaign, and then click to print, save, or buy. Finally, you can get to the programmatic information through the listing itself. Again, search for sites either by topic or title. Click the Programmatic Opportunities tab in those listings who have inventory available through one of the partners. Compare the inventory and pricing, add to campaign, print, save, or buy anything of interest. So now that we've gone through all of the ways to get to this inventory, let's talk about what you can do with it once you've added it to your campaign. And I'm going to bring you up here to the upper right-hand corner of the screen where it says Digital Campaigns. You also see the red circle with the number 4 in there. As you add things to your campaign, that's your tally that keeps track of what you've added. If I click on Digital Campaigns, what that does, just like when you create a report in SRDS.com, it gathers up everything that you've set aside by provider and gives you the opportunity to do a final review, final edit. Here in the upper right-hand corner, Delete All is going to delete everything that you've set aside and allow you to start from scratch. You can also delete individual inventory that you've set aside by clicking on the X to the far right to get rid of that from your set. You can use the print icon to print everything that you've set aside for all providers. You can print individual inventory by provider using the print option in that provider window. You can download by provider what you've set aside, and that'll download the information into an Excel spreadsheet for you to save, share, manipulate however you so choose. Once you drop it into Excel, save it as an Excel document, and all of that detail about the inventory for the sites of interest, the pricing, is all in an Excel document for you to use however you choose. Now, when you have inventory across multiple providers set aside, what you might want to do is open up the first provider like we've done here into Excel, save it using a name of the campaign, the client, what have you, and then open up the other provider inventory, copy and paste it into worksheets in the same workbook to keep it all contained, but obviously do what works best for your agency or department best practices. Finally, really the most important and most valuable piece of this new feature is the ability to actually take this interest in inventory all the way to a buy. And you do that by clicking on Proceed to Order RFP. What that does is that starts the handoff process to our partners. And what we're telling you here is we're going to hand you off to the partner, and when we do that, that's where you're going to be able to do things like configure campaign, send offers or RFPs, submit your creative, finalize your buys, submit payment, run campaigns, manage campaigns, If you want more information about the company, the provider, and how they work, click on the link to their information. Your email allows us to send you a spreadsheet with everything you're submitting to this provider. And once you click on Submit to whichever partner, we're going to hand you off to their website so you can continue to execute the buy with them. As you might imagine, each partner is a little bit different. They all have different business practices, but what you can anticipate across all providers, at some point they're going to ask you to create an account with them so they can facilitate your ad placement and also collect payment on behalf of the publisher. So we've gone through an awful lot right there. Remember, in order to get access to all of this programmatic data, you must be a subscriber of the SRDS.com digital database. If you think this data and information could be of interest to you or use to you and your team, make sure you give your account manager a call. And if you need a one-on-one training session to go deeper on this programmatic functionality, please contact me, your account manager, or the service center. I hope that this gives you some more information about some of the newer and more automated ways to buy programmatically. And that's it for me. It looks like we do have just a few minutes for some quick questions. If you do have a question, please submit it through WebEx directly, WebEx chat directly to the meeting host. Mike, do you have anything that has come through for me to take a look at?
Yeah, as I'm collecting it here as well, I did want to put just another plug in. You know, as Tina mentioned, if you have questions about specifically using SRDS.com and getting in there and finding this programmatic inventory, do contact your rep, do contact Tina. If you're looking for a little more fundamental background on programmatic buying or for members of your team, we do have an excellent new resource available which you can get to from this portal area on the SRDS website as well. Just click download the fundamentals of programmatic buying and you can download a pretty great PDF that we've put together to help you learn this field. First question that I have for you from our audience, Tina, is this is only for guaranteed direct purchasing, correct? Not private exchange access.
And that's a good question. Currently, the inventory that we have available through our partners is guaranteed direct. However, as I mentioned at the beginning, we've partnered with a handful of private marketplace companies as well, such as Rubicon Project, Pubmatic, and OpenX. Their inventory, we're in the process of getting it ready to be downloaded to the site. So keep your eyes posted over the next few weeks or so. You'll be hearing from us that their inventory is available. So currently, yes, just guaranteed direct. However, very soon, private exchange, private marketplace buying will be available through SRDS.com as well.
Yep. Very good. One more is what happens if the inventory is no longer available or the price has changed when I go to your partner?
Much like an airline ticket, the inventory may sell out or change prices in real time. You may still add the inventory to your cart and transfer it to the partner's platform to generate an RFP or save it for future use. Okay. And last question is, am I negotiating with the publisher or your programmatic partner regarding the price of the inventory? And that's a really good question that comes up a lot when I'm doing these trainings. And you are actually negotiating with the publisher. Remember, the Guaranteed Direct platform provides the technology behind the buy, but you're still working programmatically with the publisher. So when we hand you off to their site, that's where you can do the RFPs and price negotiations. Great. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, we'll wrap it up for this time. Remember, watch your email for a recording of today's session. If any other questions do come to mind that we didn't get to address, just let us know. Use that contact form address that's on the screen, and we'll be happy to either answer you directly or we'll be putting some answers up on blog.srds.com as well. Thank you so much for joining today's Media Pro webinar, and we'll talk to you soon.